how can I find the feeling of limitlessness? Yes, I think it would help to first read this phrase in front of you slowly and keep reading it until you can totally understand it, that the boundaries are imaginary. Someone told you you can only go up to this point. You cannot cross the line. First it was your parents, and then the most amazing tool ever invented by humans, television. So you will have to switch it off and throw it away, because everything on television is about establishing rules and limits and boundaries. They tell you, no, you cannot do this, we will arrest you and put you in prison. So this is where your boundaries stop. This is where your freedom stops. And this way you start believing in these boundaries, in these rules, and in these limits. You and me and everybody, right? So you would have to throw away your TV first. And stop reading the newspapers. You see, the reason our reality still exists, actually there's two reasons why our reality, the third dimension, still exists. We are overdue for the next dimension. But the reason it still exists is because they keep showing it to us 24 hours a day. They keep bombarding us with the three-dimensional reality. And we don't have the time to think outside the box, as they say. So you will have to stop looking at those images. Every single one of them is to get you to believe in boundaries, to get you to believe in limits, to get you to believe that there isn't enough. And then you slowly start asking yourself, what is it I would like to do? For instance, at least 1 in maybe 10 clients I get want to move to another country. And I look at them and say, why don't you? Well, it's difficult to get a visa, and without a visa it's difficult to get a good job, and without a good job it's difficult to... These are all limits that you have set upon you. And then it is difficult to live comfortable in the country you want to move to, because you have believed without a visa you cannot do it. A personal story. I have always, even when I was a kid, I remember I was telling my mother I was born in the wrong country. And I said, I should have been born in America. I always felt American. She was saying, yes, yes. Then, as an adult, I went to America 3 times as a tourist, loved it, and I said, I'm going to come back and live here. And then, one day when I was 30, you know, when you're about 28, 30, you think your life is half over. And then when you're in your mid-50s, like I am now, you think your life is just beginning. It's funny how it works this way. Anyway, I was 30 years old, 29 or 30. And I said, oh my God, my life is half over and I still haven't lived in the country I want to live in. America. So I went there with a tourist visa again. I did buy a return ticket to make it look real. And I stayed for 14 years. 13 and a half illegally. Because that was where I wanted to be. Who cares about a piece of paper that people call a visa? This is where I want to live. And because I said, hey, this is where I want to live and this is where I'm staying. The first year was a little bit difficult, not impossible, but it was a little bit difficult. And then it started getting easier and easier and easier. Eventually, I became a millionaire. And I was living in America illegally. So, see, I was feeling limitlessness. I did not let government regulations limit me. And I'm not the only one that has done this. I have met hundreds of people that have done this, but I know that there are millions that go somewhere and they say, look, this is where I want to be. I will stay as long as I can, and then leave. And because you have an attitude like this, they never find you to deport you. They never deported me. I left voluntarily after 14 years, only because Europe was opening up for me professionally, so I decided to come back to Europe. So this is how it is. The boundaries are in your mind. You have told yourself what you cannot do. And because you believed it, they become real. And the rules really are made up. And then they create situations, the people that make these rules, create situations to where they can convince you that these rules are real. And you believe it, and then they become real, simply because we have believed them. And the last line, the limits don't exist. They really don't. Now, you might say, yes, I want to fly, but I can't fly. Because I did have a client that said that. I go, what is it you would like to do in your life so that I can ask your higher self how you can accomplish this? And he says, I would like to fly, but I can't fly. And I said, okay, I'm going to nicely go and open the door now, and you are going to nicely walk out. Otherwise, I will beat the shit out of you. He was a little shocked, and then he left. Now, I wasn't going to beat the shit out of him because he wanted to fly, but because he was stupid. And I really believe down deep inside that stupid people need a good beating. Very good beating. Because so far nothing else has worked in waking them up. So I think before they die, why not give them a good beating as well? That way when they come back in the next life, they will remember that if they play the stupid card, there is a possibility they might get a good beating. Okay, I said my bitchiness for today. Let me go back to the video. Yes, the limits. Yes, don't think of something like, well, I want to fly and I can't fly. You know, think a little logically. I've been disconnected again. I think once I say my bitchiness, it's okay after that. I don't really need to say anything else. I feel good after that. So I'm going to close this video with this good feeling that I have now, that I have made my peace, that I have said my piece, I think it is.